Chapter 1. The wealthy, influential, and much admired Master Chu Wu Yi was considered one of the most astute and clever grain factors in Canton. In fact, he dealt in a great many varieties of exported and imported goods, but for all intents and purposes he preferred to be known as a simple grain merchant, an act of false modesty that all pretended to believe for the sake of good manners. It was said by some that Master Chu Wu Yi was so canny in affairs of business that he could, by virtue of his wide network of mercantile correspondents and traveling associates, predict the market price of numerous goods many months in advance of their availability. This was especially true of grains and minerals. He often traveled great distances to see things for himself, to talk to farmers and miners and anyone else who could be relied upon for accurate intelligence concerning matters of interest. He once sailed all the way to Java to procure a rich cargo of medicinal herbs, and then went on to Madagascar to trade for precious minerals, pearls, and those exotic elements so prized by Chinese pharmacologists and doctors. Rarity had a virtue all its own in this trade, and Master Yi possessed an instinct for such things. He returned home with his cargo loaded into 3 sturdy Arabian ships and safely warehoused his goods until after the end of the trading season. When the typhoons and winter storms closed the shipping lanes and scarcity raised prices, Master Yi gradually released his goods onto the market at the best prices and made a considerable fortune again. It was well known that even the imperial household physicians, renowned medical scholars known for their professional discretion, were counted on his books as valued clients. However brilliant Master Yi's prognostications were in the course of business, his ability to foretell the future within the sanctity of his own home was almost non-existent. Evidence for his lack of foresight could be found in the fact that every time his wife was with child, Master Yi predicted sons, and on each occasion his beloved wife presented him with a daughter. But these were no simple girls to be raised for strategic marriages. Indeed, Master Yi found to his utter amazement that he had sired 3 of the most talented daughters in the empire. All 3 girls were considered great beauties, but above and beyond appearances they were each profoundly gifted in a number of talents. The oldest was New Moon, who at the age of 18 was a most accomplished musician, singer, and composer. The next daughter, Winter Light, was a marvelous and inventive poet who composed beautifully complex and intriguing verse. She also gained a firm reputation for her magnificently elegant calligraphy. Even the imperial governor applauded her talents and respectfully commissioned several of her unique scrolls for his private library. But it was his youngest daughter, Silver Lotus, affectionately known in the family as Lady Yi, who proved a constant source of wonder and consternation to her parents, teachers, and friends. Every time her father returned from one of his long journeys, it was to discover that his youngest daughter had added another accomplishment to her quiver of remarkable talents. By the time Lady Yi was 7 years old, she could already speak, read, and write in both Mandarin and Cantonese, and could calculate extensive lists of numbers on her abacus with absolute precision. It proved a little disconcerting when it was discovered that she could do her calculations twice as fast as her father, or any of his regiment of clerks. Sometimes she would make a game of challenging her father's chief steward to tests of speed and accuracy in mathematics, and it soon came to pass that she never lost a competition of this kind to anyone, regardless of his experience or ability. And that wasn't the least of the surprises Lady Yi had in store for her parents. When Master Yi returned from a 5-month trading journey to India and Madagascar, Lady Yi had just celebrated her 14th birthday. He returned to discover that his youngest treasure had mastered passable English and very good French, and was beginning to study Italian under the tutelage of her father's warehouse master, who had served the Italian consul in Hong Kong for 10 years in the same capacity. In her brief